I didn't expect your name to do that to me. It wasn't loud, no thunder, no warning, just a quiet moment, and suddenly everything I had built felt hollow. I've spent years becoming someone people respect. Years learning how to win, how to survive, how to walk away before anything could touch me too deeply, and I was good at it. Too good. My life looked full, but it never felt like mine. Then someone said your name, and something inside me paused. Not broke, not shattered, just stop pretending. Strange, isn't it? How a single name can carry a weight your entire life never could. I don't even know when it started, or why it felt familiar in a way that scared me more than losing everything ever did. But I've been asking myself something ever since that moment. Have you ever felt something arrive so quietly, yet somehow it changed everything you thought you were? Because I think that's when my world began to fall apart, or maybe, for the first time, become real. I'm more tired than I let people see. Not the kind of tired sleep fixes, the kind that settles in your bones and stays there. I'm not young anymore, not old either, just worn in places no one notices. I've lost things I never talk about. People too. Parts of myself I don't think I'll ever get back. I almost didn't say this, but I'm saying it to you because something inside me won't let me stay silent anymore. There was a night, nothing dramatic about it. No storm, no broken glass, just a quiet kitchen, a single light left on, and a cup of coffee that had already gone cold. I remember standing there staring at nothing, phone in my hand, screen lit. Your name sitting there like it had always belonged. I didn't open it. I couldn't. Because I knew the moment I did, something in me would shift. And I had spent years making sure nothing could move me like that again. The air felt colder than it should have. Or maybe that was just me. I had learned to live in silence, not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind, the kind that follows you from room to room, sits next to you at night, breathes with you, but never warms you. There was a time I used to believe in things, in people, in staying, in not giving up. That version of me, he didn't survive. I remember the last time I trusted someone completely. The way her voice softened when she said she wouldn't leave. The way I believed her. And then the quiet after she did. No explanation that made sense, no ending that felt real, just absence, sudden, absolute, absolute. I never said this then, but I will now. It didn't just hurt, it changed me. Something closed, not loudly, not in a way anyone could see. Just a slow, careful shutting down. After that, I got better at everything that didn't matter. Work, money, decisions without emotion. I became someone people rely on, someone who doesn't break, but no one ever asked what that cost. There's a strange kind of loneliness that comes with being the strong one. People assume you don't need anything, so they don't stay long enough to find out you do. I got used to that. Empty rooms, late nights, the hum of something always missing. And then your name. It didn't crash into my life. It slipped in quietly, like it had always been there, waiting. I noticed the way it made me pause, the way my chest tightened just slightly when I saw it again. That scared me. Not because of you, but because of what it woke up. I started paying attention to small things again. The way mornings felt, the way silence sounded different when I thought of you. That hadn't happened in years. I remember one night in particular, 3 in the morning, no sleep, just the faint glow of the city outside and that same stillness I thought I had made peace with. I opened your message, just one, simple words, nothing heavy, but my hands, they didn't feel steady. It's ridiculous, isn't it? The man who has faced loss, failure, everything falling apart, undone by something so small. I never said this then, but I will now. I wasn't afraid of you. I was afraid of needing you, because needing someone means giving them the power to leave. And I've seen what that does. I built my life around not needing anyone, and yet there I was, reading your words more than once. Hearing something in them I couldn't explain. It felt warm, not overwhelming, not consuming, just gentle, like something I had forgotten I was allowed to feel. That's when it hit me. Not all at once, but enough to make me uncomfortable in my own skin. I had spent so long convincing myself I was fine alone that the idea of wanting someone again felt like a betrayal of everything I'd survived. And then there's the part I don't like admitting, the part I hide even from myself. Somewhere deep down, I don't think I believe I'm worth staying for. I learned that slowly, not from one moment, but from many. From being left, from being chosen second, from watching people walk away without looking back. You start to believe it's something in you. Something missing, something not enough. So you adjust, you stop asking for more, you stop expecting anything real, you become manageable, predictable, safe, alone. I never said this then, but I will now. When your name started to matter to me, it didn't feel like hope. It felt like risk, like standing on the edge of something I wasn't sure I could survive twice, but I couldn't ignore it either. Because there was something about you, not loud, not obvious, but steady. The way you spoke, the way you listened, it didn't feel like the others. And that's what made it harder. I found myself imagining things I had no right to imagine. Simple things. A quiet evening that didn't feel empty. A conversation that didn't end in distance. A presence that stayed. I don't trust those thoughts. I don't trust anything that feels too close to hope. But they were there. And so were you. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it becomes. All I know is something in me started to soften. Just a little. And that terrifies me more than any loss I've ever known. Because if this is real, if you are real in the way it feels, then I'm not as closed off as I thought. And that means I can still be broken. Or maybe something else. Something I don't have a name for yet. I just know this: for the first time in a long time, silence doesn't feel completely empty. It feels like it's waiting. And I don't know if that's something I should run from or something I've been unknowingly searching for all along. I don't sleep the way I used to. Not because I can't, but because the quiet feels louder now. I'm still the same man on the outside. Measured, controlled, unshaken. But inside, something keeps shifting, like the ground never fully settles anymore. I've carried loss long enough to recognize its shape. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's just the absence of warmth where something once lived. I almost didn't say this, but I'm saying it to you, because something inside me won't let me stay silent anymore. There's a memory that keeps finding me. Not a big one, not the kind people write about. Just a door closing, soft, final. No argument, no raised voices. Just that quiet click and the realization that no one was coming back. I remember standing here longer than I should have, hand still on the handle, as if time might reverse if I didn't move. It didn't. It never does. I never said this then, but I will now. That sound stayed with me, not in my ears, in my chest. It became something I carried into every room after that, something I never quite put down. You'd think a man learns to adapt, and I did. I learned how to move through life without expecting anyone to stay, how to leave parts of myself untouched so they couldn't be taken again. But there's a cost to that. You don't just protect yourself from pain, you protect yourself from everything, even the things you don't realize you still need, like warmth, like being seen, without having to explain why you're the way you are. And then you showed up without trying to. That's what unsettled me. You didn't push, didn't demand. You just were. And somehow that felt more dangerous than anything loud ever could. There was a night I caught myself rereading your words again. Same message, same simple tone, nothing hidden in it. And yet I kept searching. Not for meaning, for something familiar. Something that didn't feel like it would disappear the moment I leaned into it. That's when I realized something I don't usually admit. I've spent most of my life preparing for endings. Even in beginnings, I'm already bracing. I notice the small shifts, the pauses in replies, the subtle distance that most people would ignore, because I've seen how quickly things change. I never said this then, but I will now. When I started to feel something for you, I also started waiting for it to end. Not because of you, because of me. because somewhere along the way I became someone who doesn't believe things like this are meant to last. There's a kind of shame in that. Not loud, not obvious, but it sits there quietly reminding you that maybe you're the common thread in every loss you've ever known. And I've thought about that more than I should. What if it was me? Not them, not timing, not circumstances, just me. The way I hold back, the way I hesitate, the way I leave before I can be left. I've done that more than once. I never stayed long enough to find out if someone would choose me because I couldn't risk them not doing it. So I made the decision for them, walked away, called it control, called it strength, but it wasn't. It was fear, pure, quiet, constant fear. And now here you are, not asking anything from me, not forcing anything to happen, just existing in a way that makes me feel seen. And I don't know what to do with that. Because being seen means being known. And being known means someone might finally notice the parts of me I've spent years hiding. The parts that aren't strong, that aren't steady. The parts that still flinch when something feels too close to real. I never said this then, but I will now. I don't know how to receive something I didn't have to fight for. Every connection I've ever known came with effort, with proving, with earning. But you don't make me feel like I have to prove anything, and that confuses me more than rejection ever did. Because if I don't have to earn it, then I have to accept it. And accepting something real means believing I deserve it. I'm not sure I'm there yet. There are moments, small ones, where I let myself imagine what this could be. Nothing grand, just quiet things. Sitting across from you without feeling like I need to guard every word. Hearing your voice without wondering when it will fade. Feeling steady, not high, not overwhelmed, just safe. That word feels unfamiliar in this context. Safe was always something I created alone. Controlled, predictable. But this feels different. And that difference, it unsettles me. Because I don't know if I can trust it, or myself in it. I've lived too long expecting things to slip through my hands the moment I start to care, and yet I keep coming back to you. Not physically, but in thought, in silence. In those moments where the world slows down just enough for something real to surface. It's quiet there. And for the first time, it doesn't feel empty. It feels like something is trying to exist between us, something fragile. Something I don't fully understand. I don't know if it's meant to stay. I don't know if I'll ruin it before it even has a chance to become anything. But I know this, I haven't felt this kind of hesitation in years. Not the kind that pushes me away, the kind that makes me pause and consider staying. And maybe that's where everything begins to change, or where it all falls apart again. I can't tell the difference yet. All I know is when I hear your name now, it doesn't just stop me. It makes me wonder, what would happen if, just once, I didn't walk away first? I don't trust myself with this. Not the way I should. Not the way you deserve. I've learned how to hold things together. Keep everything in place. Keep myself distant enough to never fully fall. But this, whatever this is, it keeps slipping past the parts of me that are supposed to stay guarded. I almost didn't say this, but I'm saying it to you because something inside me won't let me stay silent anymore. There's a version of me I don't talk about. Not because I've forgotten him, but because I know exactly what he cost me. He was the one who stayed too long, who believed too deeply, who gave without measuring what it would take from him. I used to think that made me strong. It didn't. It made me easy to leave. I remember the night it finally broke. Not loudly, never loudly. Just a conversation that felt different, like something had already ended. And I was the last to realize it. Her voice was calm, too calm. Like she had already let go before the words came out, and I stood there, listening, pretending I understood, pretending it didn't feel like something inside me was being quietly dismantled. I never said this then, but I will now. I begged, not out loud, not in words she could hear, but in the way I stayed, in the way I kept trying to make something work that had already decided it wouldn't. There's a kind of humiliation in that, a quiet one. the kind that doesn't show up immediately but settles in later when you replay everything in your head and realize you gave more than you should have, more than they were ever going to return. That's when something shifted in me, not just pain, something heavier. I started associating love with loss, connection with collapse. Every time something felt real, my mind would move ahead to the part where it ends, and I would pull back before it got there. I told myself it was control. It wasn't. It was self-protection disguised as strength, and I got good at it, too good. I became the man who leaves before he's left, who keeps things just distant enough to never fully matter. I built a life that looks stable from the outside, but inside it's quiet in a way that doesn't feel like peace, more like absence. I never said this then, but I will now. When I felt something shift with you, my first instinct wasn't to move closer. It was to step back, to create distance before anything could grow into something I couldn't manage. But I didn't. Not completely. And that's what scares me, because it means something in me wants this. Even if I don't fully understand why, there's a moment I keep returning to. Not because it was dramatic, but because it felt real. You said something simple, nothing heavy, nothing loaded. But the way you said it, it didn't feel like you were trying to be anything other than exactly who you are. And I realized I don't see that often. Most people perform, they adjust, they become what they think will be accepted. But you didn't feel like that. And it disarmed me, because I don't know how to stand in front of something real without either protecting myself from it or ruining it. I never said this then, but I will now. I don't know how to love without fear anymore. Not the way I used to. Back then, I would jump without thinking about the fall. Now, I measure everything. Every word, every silence, every shift in tone. It's exhausting, but it's also the only way I've known how to survive. And yet, with you, there are moments where that instinct weakens, where I forget to calculate, forget to prepare for the end just for a second. And in that second, something feels lighter. I don't trust it, but I feel it. And that contradiction, it stays with me. There's also something else I need to admit, something I don't like about myself. When things start to matter, I become distant, not because I stop caring, but because I care too much. I withdraw, I slow down, I create space, I tell myself I'm protecting both of us. But the truth is, I'm protecting myself from the possibility that you'll see everything I've tried to keep hidden. The doubts, the insecurity, the parts of me that still feel not enough. I never said this then, but I will now. If I pull away, it's not because you did something wrong. It's because I'm trying to manage something inside me that I don't fully understand. Something that tells me this won't last, that it can't, that nothing this calm, this natural could actually stay. And I hate that voice. But I haven't learned how to silence it yet. There are nights when I sit with all of this and I try to make sense of it. Why you? Why now? Why something that feels so quiet can shake something in me that years of loss couldn't? I don't have an answer. Just a feeling, subtle, uncertain, like something that existed before I had the words for it. I don't try to explain that part. I just notice it. And it makes me wonder if some things aren't meant to be understood, just felt. I don't know where this goes. I don't know if I'll get in my own way before anything real has the chance to exist, but I know this, you've made me aware of parts of myself I thought were gone. Not healed, not fixed, just still there, waiting. And I don't know if that's something I'm ready for or something I've been avoiding my entire life. All I know is when I imagine walking away from this, it doesn't feel like relief. It feels like losing something I never even got to hold. And that's a different kind of pain. I don't know how this ends. This is a truth I keep circling without ever landing anywhere solid. I've spent most of my life understanding endings before they arrive, reading the quiet signs, preparing myself for the moment something slips through my hands, but this doesn't feel like anything I've known before. And that lack of familiarity, it unsettles me more than certainty ever did. I almost didn't say this, but I'm saying it to you because something inside me won't let me stay silent anymore. There's a kind of stillness that comes just before something changes. Not loud, not obvious, just a shift in the air, like the world is holding its breath. I've felt that before, right before things fell apart. That's why I don't trust it. Even now, as I sit with the thought of you, there's a part of me already bracing for the moment it disappears. I wish I could say I'm different now, that I've healed enough to believe in something without questioning its ending. But I haven't. I still hesitate, still hold back, still measure the distance between what I feel and what I allow myself to show. I never said this then, but I will now. I don't know how to meet you fully without losing control of everything I'd spent years trying to keep steady. Because loving someone, really loving them, it changes your center of gravity. And I've only just learned how to stand again. There's a memory I carry that I rarely let surface, not because it's the worst one, but because it's the most honest. It's me, sitting in a room that felt too big for one person, no noise, no movement, just the realization that everything I had built my sense of us around was gone. Not broken, not damaged, gone. And the part that stayed with me wasn't the loss itself, it was the silence that followed. The way it echoed, the way it made everything else feel less real. I told myself I would never let anyone have that kind of space inside me again, and for a long time I didn't. I kept everything at a distance, controlled, predictable, safe, but empty. I didn't call it emptiness back then. I called it peace. It sounded better that way. I never said this then, but I will now. It wasn't peace, it was absence, pretending to be enough. And I got used to it, so used to it that when something real started to form again, I didn't recognize it as something I could keep. I recognized it as something I could lose. That's the difference. And that difference, it shapes everything. Because when you expect loss, you don't fully step into what's in front of you. You hold part of yourself back, just enough to survive the ending you're already imagining. And I've done that with you. Maybe not in ways you can see, but in ways I feel every time I stop myself from saying more, from showing more, from being more present than I'm comfortable with. There's a quiet guilt in that, knowing that something real might be unfolding and still not giving it everything it deserves. I never said this then, but I will now. I don't know if I've ever given anything my whole heart without fear standing right behind it. Even when I thought I did, fear was always there, waiting. And with you, it's no different. But it feels different. And that contradiction, it's hard to live inside, because part of me wants to move closer, wants to stop holding back, wants to see what this could become if I stop trying to control every outcome. And another part of me, the louder part, keeps reminding me what happens when I do. So I stay here, somewhere in between, not fully distant, not fully close, just present enough to feel it and guarded enough to survive it. I don't know if that's fair to you. I don't know if that's something you would understand or something that would quietly push you away over time. And maybe that's what this all comes down to, not whether this is real, but whether I can allow it to be. There are moments, small ones, where I let myself imagine a different version of me. One that doesn't hesitate so much. One that doesn't expect everything to fall apart the moment it starts to matter. In those moments, I see something simple, not perfect, not overwhelming, just steady. A life that doesn't feel like it's constantly preparing for loss. A connection that doesn't feel temporary before it even begins. And you're there, not as something I'm chasing, but as someone who stayed. That thought, it feels unfamiliar, but it also feels right in a way I don't fully trust yet. Maybe that's what this is. Not certainty, not clarity, just the quiet possibility of something that hasn't been broken yet. And I don't know if I'm strong enough to believe in that, or if I'll keep holding it at a distance until it fades, like everything else I've been too afraid to fully hold. All I know is this: you came into my life without force, without expectation, and somehow you reached a part of me I thought was already gone, not healed, not fixed, just alive again. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't know if I'll learn how to stay or if I'll fall back into the patterns that have kept me safe and alone. But right now, in this quiet space where your name still lingers in my thoughts, there's something I can't ignore anymore. It's not loud, it doesn't demand anything, it just exists like a question I haven't answered, or maybe a chance I haven't taken. And I don't know if it will still be there by the time I figure out how, or if this is one of those moments that almost became something before it slipped away into silence. Just like everything else I once believed would stay.